Hi guys, we're back. It's episode 13. We're here today to talk about most essential off-road accessories, and we've got a new member on the podcast today, Dailos, and we've got Reyes, Junaid, and myself. So we're here to talk about what you guys need if you're going to go off-road, if you're a first-timer or if you're not so sure what you need in your car, in your vehicle with you, in your convoy. That's why we're here. So who wants to start off?
Our new member today. Would you care to start?
Thank you very
Give
much.
us some of your ideas.
Well, I'm not going to give all the list out because then we've got then nothing to say.
I disagree!
I would say probably the first one would be a shovel, which is kind of like the basic of the basics to take off. Does anyone agree or disagree?
I
I've been on drives with all three of you and none of you use a shovel.
I used to, when I first started driving, I used to use a shovel, and it seemed like, it helped. But then I just realized that you can always...
You don't really need it.
You don't really need it. If you need a shovel, it's just probably easier to pull it out with a tow rope.
If you have somebody else with you.
Yeah.
Sorry, but are we seriously objecting on a shovel?
No, I'm just saying I've never seen you ever use it.
I was going to say that I've not used my shovel
You
in a
haven't
long
used
time.
it, but it is still an essential tool to have.
I'm
You
not
will
saying
still
don't bring
use it. Can you please continue?
Done.
I told you the coffee was good.
A tool set.
Agreed.
Basic tool set to at least fix most of the items that break on your vehicle,
Yep.
if they do break.
9 to 22.
Unless you're capable of preserving a skyjacker for 6 years. Then you don't need a tool set.
I don't know why you guys are making it a bad thing. I challenge you to do it. I bet you can't.
Fuses.
Yes.
Simple, a small little box of fuses.
Yeah, I agree.
For the
I agree,
basics.
but it's... I don't know. Are we telling people that they should go buy fuses before they go off-road?
Is it essential? I don't know. Where it also
wouldn't say-
depends that...
I wouldn't say it's essential. So that's... It's as you become a long-term off-roader, you probably will have some spare fuses with you.
Yeah.
But when you're just starting out or you're doing it like just, once or twice a month, I don't think you need it.
It
It's
would
not-
help though.
For me, it would be the winch, the soft shackle, the snatch block, my cooler, my fridge, and what else would I need? And
Is that essential then?
But yeah,
It is for me.
Is it?
Gotta stay cool.
Gotta stay hydrated and chill. Remember the wet wipes I gave you at the end of
That
the
actually
recovery?
was quite good actually. I must say that was top. Okay.
And compressor. But that's not. Does that?
No, that you can.
Yeah, because I said winch.
It is an
So compressor,
essential.
Yeah.
It's essential.
So those are mine. Like sweet, simple. Snatch block because it doubles the power of your winch. So we've used it in the past to recover at angles that are difficult for a single winch to pull. So the snatch block doubles the power in theory of pulling. So that's pretty useful and it's not that expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So those are mine. Master,
What?
what are your
I'm just listening.
essentials?
I'm still curious about the rest of Dailos.
Yes,
I mean, he didn't finish.
He wants to
It's actually
continue in
quite nice to,
between.
exactly. I just kind of chip in. That's your turn. Then you carry on and I'll finish.
Are you taking them off the list though?
Yes.
So back to your list.
Yeah. Back to Mr. Reyes.
Okay.
Mr. Reyes, let's
Well,
hear it.
if I'll consider what is essential to always have, a winch is a very important item to have on your vehicle for many situations. I mean, there is a lot of the, let's say, recovery items that rely on you having someone with you, but having a winch is that someone. I mean, it can do a lot being on your vehicle when you're on your own. And I have personal experience with that. That's why I think it's one of the most important items to have
If you're
on a
going
vehicle.
alone.
Yes, I mean, if you go alone or even when you're out there helping someone, I mean, you loosen stresses
Yeah,
on
there's
your
certain-
vehicle and...
There's certain situations where you just it's going to be incredibly difficult if you don't have a winch.
It's very good
Or
investment.
impossible. Yeah.
It's a very good
Even
investment
when we
to have.
go for trips, we make sure at least one guy has
In the convoy, yeah.
in the convoy.
Having a shovel is an important item whether you use it or not, but it's still very important. I mean, yes, if you go to mountain areas where it's rocky, it's not really that much of a help. But when you go to desert, again, there are situations where it's would come in handy,
Yeah,
and it works well with having a winch, and I will tell you why later.
Yeah,
I take it back as well.
Yeah.
Because-
Apologize.
I'm sorry.
We're sorry. We are sorry. I know what you're going to use this. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, you normally need a shovel to like dig a fire pit. Or
No.
to make a barbecue. Like
Well,
it's
that
fun.
would be nice.
He's already dreaming.
But no, I mean, if we're talking about recovery items,
Yeah.
so yes, it's a very important item. A compressor, yes, definitely. A proper jack,
Oh yes.
True.
A jack.
that's very important. And a proper one, I mean, not just the OEM one, because a lot of us, they modify, we lift. The OEM one is absolutely useless.
Yeah.
So it's preferably that you would have a liable one that can help
That
in
can
difficult,
reach.
yeah, that can reach.
Not,
That can actually lift your vehicle.
Yeah, and that doesn't break when you.
I think so. I like
and
the
the
bottle
long-
jack.
Yeah.
The
If we're specifying, I like the bottle jack. So.
oh, okay.
quick one?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
quick. Yeah.
Anyway, when you're talking about jacks, it's better. If we're talking about desert, then it's better to have it with its accessories,
Okay.
because you need a proper base. Otherwise, it would sink in. It would be absolutely useless. So yes, having a toolbox is definitely a very important item as well, because you never know when you need it. Dailos mentioned fuses. Definitely, it's important, but I mean, how often do you really,
Yeah.
It's happened
I
to me
mean-
twice.
really?
Wow.
In how many years?
6 years.
Yeah. So it's.
Fair enough.
Well,
But at least I had it,
I mean,
just in case.
We're mostly used to remove a fuse.
Yeah.
We have a common friend
But-
who carries half of all booze in his back.
Yeah.
Like
So we
you
just
want-
bring-
Why do I
So
think,
he's
I
our
think I
off-road.
know who that is?
No, you don't know that person.
Oh,
You haven't
okay.
met him.
He's our off-road accessory. We just
Yeah.
bring in.
Like any channel, he'll have
Pyro.
motor oil, Kool-Aid, gear oil, transmission oil, everything. Like he's half of all booze.
Like 3 toolboxes. Yeah.
And one of the most essential, and I think it's something that you should never go off-road without it, is having a walkie talkie.
Radio. Yes.
That is
Agreed.
an extremely important
Even if you're
item. Even if you're alone, yes. It has a benefit where
Yeah, actually, I do.
there's a
agree with
benefit
that.
where actually the local police would tell you, even if it's illegal, the guy will tell you, at least in the desert, have it, even if you're not using, keep it with you, because when you don't have signal, this is the only way that you can reach, and as well communicate with whoever is around you. So I think this is an item that we should never
Agreed.
leave without it. I mean, it's a must to have it all the time. What else?
There's also flag.
Flag. We learned our lesson
In the
last
desert.
week.
Yes,
Yeah,
flag
it's
in a
important.
convoy.
In a convoy,
Yes,
yes, but it's
but
not
if
really
you're
essential, is it?
No, but
Of
you
course
to
it's
avoid
essential.
others. Like we were in a close call
Yes.
last week when we were driving because
if we're going
somebody
to be
didn't have a flag.
specific, in the desert, yes,
Mhm.
if you have a convoy,
It's convoy.
but even in the mountains, you don't need it
No,
because
in the
it will cause
mountains
you
it's
more
not.
issues than
Yeah.
while it
Mountains is not safe.
being caught on trees and shit. So
I mean, a lot of us now have the apex valves, but before that, the valve remover tool,
Yeah, the
deflator,
deflator.
it's essential. It just
Like,
saves you so much
deflator.
time.
having pins extra would be nice, but I mean,
That's true as well.
yeah.
That's true.
Even a valve, we had to pop out
Yeah.
not so long
Yeah.
ago, and we had to actually change the whole valve from
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
room, so.
We've done
Because
that
we
before
couldn't
as well.
But I mean,
remove the
this
spare
is, this
tire.
is yeah. I mean,
So you have that list, but
Mentioning
none of it
names.
came in handy that day.
It did, because I fixed it. I repaired it.
Yeah, it was hot. No one's brain was working that day. Everyone's
But I
like,
did actually.
"Oh,
I had a
God."
spare valve in my bag, and we fixed
yeah,
it.
you found the valve replacement, right? Yeah,
So I had a spare valve in my bag, and that's it. So exactly. So it's good to take. It's good to be prepared.
definitely.
You
I
never
agree
know.
with that.
Okay, let's continue with the list then.
Cable
What have we
ties.
missed? Zip ties, yeah.
Zip ties.
WD-40.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Zip ties. Everyone's used.
Yeah.
Everyone's used zip ties. Everyone.
So,
So
yeah.
You want to carry on?
That excited? Like we
Yeah.
can leave the room.
No, it's one of the. Yeah, I agree. Zip ties. I mean,
Duct
we
tape?
can-
Yeah, if it's not meant to move and it's moving, you use zip ties.
exactly.
Yeah.
And if it's meant to move and not moving, you use WD-40.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
And if you don't have zip ties, you get a bit of duct tape, and you can just kind of. It's not the best. It kind of leaves
Yeah.
that gluey shit everywhere. So, but again,
Zip ties are better.
Yeah.
But zip ties,
Yeah.
they can. I mean, I suffered from a faulty batch, or maybe it was just a bit old. They used to just get brittle and fall apart. So to make sure you keep like
Zip ties.
newish zip ties.
Yeah, you can use them for a lot of things.
We really don't
On
want to know
another
Reyes.
episode with Reyes, zip ties.
Sorry, children.
A knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's a small pocket knife, I've actually got a machete in the car.
Oh.
So I said it all depends on how
Okay.
big you want to go. But it's helped me out.
That's to be used on
Well,
safe
if we're
one
talking
day.
about
Yes,
a knife.
but it has helped me a lot. Even in like I'm going down a very dodgy wadi, etc., and you've got the bush, and you just machete the hell out of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, a Swiss knife
Exactly,
is,
Swiss
is a beautiful item.
Oh,
to
you're
have.
missing Pascal today.
Oh. No, but really, I have
I agree,
to
and
have a Swiss
I
knife
always
the
take
whole
I
time.
always take a small one with.
And
that has a
this
bit
thing
basics.
is amazing.
Yeah.
The amount of
Never
to
used
cut
one.
open the
yeah,
wood.
because
tank.
whenever there's a situation, you just
To
get
cut the
too
zip-
hot
the
and you
zip
don't
ties,
leave your
Yeah.
vehicle.
Actually, there's a really interesting time once we had after one of the challenges ages ago. It was dark and we were driving out of the desert, and the guy who was leading went into like a valley, like a ditch, and got stuck. And it was only 3 of us, and then the other guy went to pull him out, and he got stuck with the tow rope fully
extended.
locked.
Okay, yeah.
And he was over like the hill, so he couldn't drive up. It was too soft. So we had one car left, and with the one car, he tried from a different angle to get unstuck the second guy who was trying to get unstuck the first guy, and he also got stuck because it was just like really soft sand, like Liwa side. And
Who did
very
you
dark.
drive with before?
So this is you know them, Ahmed and Barry. And so we had to cut. We needed a knife. In this case, we had to cut one of the ropes to get the second Jeep free.
Mhm.
And then luckily, we had a spare rope after the 3 ropes, so we used that to get him free finally. But
That
if
would
we didn't
been-
have a knife in that situation, we were screwed.
or if you had a winch, that
We did have a winch, but it was on the guy who was leading.
Ah,
He got stuck
brilliant.
winch forward.
So
Okay.
the winch guy should be always at the back.
Well,
So you
yeah.
should have one in front, one in the back.
One thing we forgot: fire extinguisher.
Yeah, but that comes
Yeah.
in the car already anyway.
Yeah, it's like
Proper one.
Well, no, but so I would
We've
say
used. I think so. We've seen Snehal use 12 fire extinguishers on that
on the
FJ.
yeah.
Safe.
Nothing.
Obadiah.
When his car burned
Oh
down,
yeah, Seth. His
he
car
did
burned
about
down.
10
I'd say more important than having the fire extinguisher is having a fire extinguisher you can use quickly,
Correct.
because you need to be quick.
And
a lot of
knowing-
people just have it like stuck under somewhere, and by the time you get it out, the car's like.
It's
gone.
also knowing how to use a fire extinguisher as well. Because half the people don't actually know how to use a fire extinguisher, which is an issue.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
They just-
Release the pin and press.
Well,
They just
they're just
but
pressing.
You're meant to be doing this to be pulsate, and then the actual fire extinguisher lasts longer.
Can you do that again for the camera?
Anyway,
Yeah.
along with the fire, if we will consider that it is in the vehicle as part of the kit which comes with every vehicle, then as well a first aid kit
First aid
is
kit,
a
yes,
very important
definitely.
item. You never know
Definitely.
what is needed.
But also a first aid kit that is actually checked. Because some people
Yes.
just leave it in the car for 2 years. When you go and get the band-aid, it just
Yeah.
literally just falls off your skin.
Deteriorate.
So how often should you check your first aid kit? Like
It
anyone
depends
knows?
on how hot it is. So every 6 months.
I think it's 6 months. The standard.
Yeah. For anyone that's watching, I'm sure you're probably like thinking you should write it down. We're gonna put a list in the bottom.
Sure, like we forgot to
gonna-
put the coordinates.
Well, that's on you. We're gonna copy that
Dailos' list,
yeah.
and put it in the bottom. So, but yeah, on the same topic of like first aid kit, one of my things is water. Water is by far the most essential thing you need to take. And I always go on trips with people, and they'll just buy one bottle of water, and they're like, yeah, it's fine. Short trip, 4 hours is fine. But if something goes wrong, and we've had that.
Twice.
Yeah, and like I always take, if I'm on my own, when I go for like a 2-day trip to Liwa, I take like 15 liters of water, and I mostly never use it. And then there was this one time last season where everyone was like, "Does anyone have water? Does anyone have water?" Because we had a huge car roll, and we were stuck in the desert in Liwa, and it all got finished. But luckily, I had that, so that's why I'd say when you're going off road,
Just carry
Water
excess
Lots of
water.
water is a very essential accessory to the human body.
It helps with pop outs as well.
Yeah, it helps a lot of things.
A torch.
Uh,
A torch.
at night, yes.
Of course,
Definitely.
you're not exactly going to use it day, eh?
Everyone has a phone nowadays.
Well, look, if we're talking
I
about
think
this
so.
region,
Proper torch
there
is
is
more helpful.
Yeah, and,
But I like the ones that
there is
come
the head
on
torch.
on the head torch.
other than having a torch, if we're talking about off-roading in this region, and within these hot times, if you do go off-road in summer especially, it does happen all year, but as well, next to a proper normal torch, it's good to have a UV light.
UV light.
Yes.
Why?
Because they
Creepy
do
crawlies.
detect scorpions,
Yeah.
Okay.
and that is very important. And I've been in cases and where it came useful, and actually, when was it? I think it was around the last time it rained. What was 1 month ago?
The one. The
Yeah, when we
yeah,
went
yeah.
to Hatta and like we were walking and things seemed fine, then suddenly I'm looking under me and there's one big
Oh, yeah, you sent the video,
I sent
yeah.
the photo of it. So imagine it wasn't night, but imagine if it did come dark, there's no way to detect these things without
There's
UV
a
light,
local
because-
technique. I don't know if it's local or it's worldwide, but like when you're camping overnight, they say like spray diesel around your campsite so it stops.
Generally, yes, because of the scent, it keeps away, and it
But
will
if it's
choke
a-
you as well. So yeah, it's a win-win.
Like
If you don't die, then
measure the parameter. But I'm just asking because I've seen it. But does it work?
I think it will work temporarily because diesel
It
will
will evaporate,
evaporate. So
Scorpions
unless you have
always-
someone on overnight who's like the whole time going around,
We were talking about.
I'll keep watch.
We're talking about winches.
putting a diesel charm
or
around everyone.
the ropes that we use. What about the counterweights? Like, there's a lot of always people talk about it.
Well, even ropes, we haven't really specified what kind of rope. Yeah.
Okay.
So
You would be you.
there's
We have an episode for that. Winches.
Okay.
we'll do an episode of winches for sure.
Full on
yeah.
winches.
Live one.
Probably.
Reyes can get stuck again.
Again?
Again,
Yeah, I mean ropes. There's two types of ropes, right? Two main. One is kind of a rigid rope, and then there's one which is kinetic, which has some give.
Okay.
And obviously, if you're in the desert, the kinetic one's 100 times better. It's not going to give you that jerk, and it gives you room to play. So that's what I advise for desert. But obviously, if it's in rocks or something, you need something that maybe is a bit more stiff and doesn't stretch.
Fair enough.
So again, it's basically all depending on where we drive. So it could be either waddies, could be mountains, could be sand. It all depends on the accessory.
Yeah, and what
but a
trip you're
winch
doing.
works everywhere.
No.
Winches.
Yes.
You use the winch. You basically use it 8 times. Like 8 times out of 10, you use it for somebody else, not for you.
Exactly. To save time.
So the question is, you know it because I told you.
Mhm.
So you're in the middle of the desert, you're alone, and you're stuck, and you have a winch. How do you get yourself
You
out?
take your back, so you get the shovel, which
Yep.
you should have. You should make a hole in the sand. You take
Exactly.
your back tire out, off.
Spare
You
tire.
dig it your spare tire. You put it into the hole. Then you actually put your winch to that. You fill the hole up a little bit more just to make it like an anchor, and then you can pull yourself out.
Exactly.
A star for Dailos,
Which
guys.
gets us to a very important item
Or
is
to
that
it,
you
yeah.
should always have your spare tire.
True.
Because some people they
Some people
think
don't.
it's you're
Fashion.
removing weight and it looks better without.
Name
but
that
yes,
person.
No,
Pascal.
no, it's not one person. There's a lot of people out there that does that.
Wow.
It's not
Okay.
really one person.
But
so-
why would you risk not
No,
taking
so
your
what-
spare tire?
No, so what we have
because
done.
they think it's better to have less weight.
It is
That's
always
it.
it is always better to have less weight.
No.
What we have done in the past, say for example, we have a convoy of 4.
Mhm.
We have 2 people. If we're luckily at this time we were driving with the same tire size, we just took 2 spare tires for the 4 cars. It's a risk, but it's also like risk versus a reward. What's the chance that you're gonna puncture 2 tires? It's low.
We did a trip, which is the Tropic of Cancer,
it's high.
and we had at the end of it about 3 or 4 cars, and we all used up all of our. We basically destroyed our tires.
Oh wow.
So you got to be careful. There's some
95%
again,
driver.
it
There are
depends.
cases. Yeah, there are cases.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a drive and the same guy popped out a tire, 3 tires out of 4.
Oh snap.
Yeah. So then even having 1 spare tire is not gonna matter, right? 'Cause you
But it helps. I
It's
mean,
just
the
the-
no doubt.
possibility is
ideology.
high. It's there. So
It could
just
happen.
get 1 tire and keep it with you.
Yeah.
So already it comes with the vehicle. It's not like you have
I
to buy
always
it.
carry my spare tire.
no, of course if you modify your tires, you have to have the correct size. Otherwise, you're gonna be
Yes.
and wind up.
Well,
with
at
this.
least it's just to get out of the desert. Just at least to get to the main road. If you're going to be like that wonky, then fair enough.
What was it?
Wonky.
So.
So if we were to go back
Mhm.
and jot down again 5 essential items, let's start with Reyes.
Okay. Well, if I'll choose 5 as the utmost important, and I will not choose any more or can't take any more for any reason, it has to be a winch, a shovel, a walkie talkie. I have to have a proper spare tire, and a toolkit.
Fair enough. I would again go winch, compressor, soft shackles, snatch block. I won't say refrigerator, but I
Good.
would say fire extinguisher.
I'll probably go for the soft shackle, shovel, snatch rope, toolkit, and compressor.
Mr. Dan.
Difficult
Difficult.
to just choose 5. No, yeah. If we're going like we raise this point that it's even if you're alone, then yeah, for sure winch, compressor for sure because you might need to deflate and then inflate. Walkie talkie, toolkit, and when I say toolkit, it's like I have in my car a tool bag that has, for example, zip ties, tools, etc. And keep that as like a bag of tools. And the last one, I will stick with my fluids, hydrated fluids for you and whoever's with you. Water, drinks.
Cool.
Very good one.
The top one would be the winch. Then.
Yes, indeed.
I can't believe you didn't say compressor.
Well, you're already off-roading. You might not need to inflate, and I have my spare tire already. So until I get out of that area, whatever it is.
So what if you get 2 pop-outs then?
Yes, it will be a
It was a hypothetical
Yes,
situation.
yeah.
So the winch and second, I think so, is
Soft-
the
The
compressor
toolbox.
or the
Like
toolbox?
compressor and toolbox. These 3
Yeah,
are the
like-
most common
yeah.
mentioned.
Okay,
So,
makes sense.
Snatch rope. I think we used
Well, you have a winch.
I said that.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I didn't put it. Because you have a winch, then you don't need a rope, really.
It will much decrease the possibility of you having to use the snatch rope rather if you have a winch.
Yeah, true.
And the winch is as well healthier for your vehicle. I mean, the snatch rope, connecting it, driving,
Sure.
and that pressure on the wing and pinion, a lot of cases where you end up breaking something. A winch, it's as simple as just seeing in the vehicle.
This was
Put
not
on the
sponsored.
brake.
By the way,
Unless you have a winch that cannot decide whether it pulls out
Pulls or
or
pulls.
pushes in. And you know I'm talking about you.
Yeah, we had one of those situations where 2 winches were attached because it was the same brand, not a well-known one, obviously, and both were pressing like
They were
Those-
crossing
it was
frequencies.
like crossing frequency and like what the hell, like this is
Yeah.
like. And I decided then
So
after that I
do
needed
invest
a proper,
in a proper
winch, yeah,
branded
yeah.
winch.
Yeah.
Do not go for copies, same like we mentioned in our episode before. You need a proper winch that is liable. That will
We'll
be
do an episode
durable.
on winches. We should do an episode
Yeah,
on
goes
winches.
back to
yeah.
what
Once
we
the season
spoke about
starts.
before.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Dailos to summarize.
Before that, seeing as,
Oh,
you
there's
guys,
more?
seeing as you guys aren't sharing and subscribing, you're gonna find links down below to buy all the stuff. Yeah, we get commission.
Cool. Dailos to summarize.
so thank you very much, all of you. Please like, share, and subscribe, and please write your comments below if you do have any. See you next week. Bye bye.
Where's the wink?
That was
I did wink.
Wink again. Not with both eyes, one eye.